Hello and welcome to the latest episode of LIsburn Distillery TV. I'm Colin Hopkins.
And I'm Rosie McKay. And on what is once again a busy show, here's what we have coming up in today's episode.
We have exclusive highlights from Lisburn Distillery's Irish Cup game against Queens, which took place at the Dub last Saturday.
We catch up with White's co-manager George O'Boyle to hear his thoughts after Saturday's game.
We'll be looking ahead to this weekend as the Whites host Dollingstown in a league game.
And finally, we will have a reminder on our next manager's lunch, which also takes place this Saturday. Lisburn Distillery's last match saw them travel to take on Queens in a fifth round Irish Cup encounter.
Our host Queens went into the game as clear favourites, but with Distillery unbeaten in their last two encounters between the clubs, we were optimistic we could spring a surprise on the day.
Let's head over to the Dub to see how the game turned out.
Hello and welcome from the Dub in South Belfast, where today Lisburn Distillery are here to play Queen's University in the fifth round of the Tenants Irish Cup. The Whites will be hoping to bounce back from their recent league defeat against Tullamore United, but this without doubt is going to be a tough game for the visitors. Here's the match highlights.
Colin, what can we say about that?
Not much, let's be honest about it. I just don't know what went wrong today. We just did not perform, with the exception of maybe one or two players who did okay. The vast majority of them just didn't turn up, and we duly got hammered. And feeling Queens were sort of far superior to us in every department. I mean, our defence looked shaky, midfield looked in trouble most of the game. The attack was virtually non-existent. It was just one of those days, and we just had to, put it behind us and move on.
I suppose it's disappointing because the Whites had been playing reasonably well up until...
Yeah, you're 100% right in that, Rosie. I mean, up to that point, certainly there's no hammerings. I mean, yes, we've lost the odd game here or there. We've won a few games and they've been playing reasonably well, as you say there. So as to what went wrong on Saturday, I mean, we thought could have went there and got some sort of result, or at least pushed them hard, but after 20 minutes, we're like losing 4-0, to be honest. It was a strange sort of game. I mean, there was the first three goals there. They all sort of hit the bar and came down and fell to their players. On other days, you might have seen them going over the bar or wide or whatever the case may be. And I'm not using that as an excuse for any stretch of the imagination, but it just seemed to be everything against us. Whenever you're 4-0 down or so after 20 minutes, it's game over. You may as well just go home. So we were sort of hoping that the referee would blow up, to be honest, at some point, but unfortunately we had to endure it right through the 90 minutes. But it's done and dusted. We move on from it.
Okay, and what about management's thoughts?
Well, understandably, the managers, were gutted. Then they put so much effort into the preparing for the game. The players were training hard in advance of it. They were optimistic once again. We could have went for someone, just wasn't to be on the day. So, like the supporters, like the players themselves, I think the management sort of gutted from it. After the game, I actually managed to catch up with the co-manager George O'Boyle, and here was George's thoughts on the game. George, I'm not sure what you can say about that. That certainly was not as expected earlier on today.
No, I don't think anybody could see the way the game was going to pan out today. We're obviously standing here bitterly disappointed of the performance and what we've shown today, because that's not us. I didn't think it was in us, but at the end of the day, we can't hide away from it. It was there.
How do we bounce back from this?
Well, I think first and foremost, I'd like to take this opportunity to, on behalf of the players and all the management team, we apologise for any supporters who were at the game today and paid their good money to come in and see that. That's something that we have not seen from a distillery team that we've been involved in. But how we bounce back is we will regroup. We're 100% behind the players. They're saying in there they're 100% behind us, and so we're together as a team. And we'll work really hard this week on training and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Dollingstown next week then, so you're going from a team at the top of the league, team at the lower end of the league. It doesn't get any easier, that's it.
No, it doesn't. I think everybody knows in our league where you're sitting in the league doesn't dictate how the game's going to pan out. So it doesn't. We're too long in the tooth now to know that. We'll give them all the respect they deserve, and they do deserve the respect, and I'm sure they'll do that with us. But it's a game we must win just to get back on the rails again. It's a very important game and a massive 3 points for us, which we'll be going out to get.
Okay, George, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Next up for Lisburn Distillery sees the Whites return to league action against bottom place side Dollingstown. Hopefully return to win the ways, Colin?
Well, let's hope so. You're home to the side here, bottom of the league. You'd like to think you're going to get 3 points. However, as somebody who's followed Distillery for a long, long time, I know it never comes easy. I've seen times where we're going absolutely brilliantly, nobody can beat us, and you play the bottom side and you lose. So it's certainly not a gimme. Certainly the attitude will have to be spot on the day, and we'll have to sort of produce to the best of our ability.
That game against Dollingstown takes place here at New Grosvenor this Saturday. That's Saturday, January the 12th, with kick-off at 2 p.m, and as ever, your support for the Whites on the day would be appreciated.
We would also take this opportunity to remind supporters that our next manager's lunch of the season also takes place ahead of this game on Saturday. As ever, supporters will have the chance to hear from the management team of George O'Boyle and Colin McIlwain, as well as our special guest on the day, who is Distillery legend Francis Smith. Food on the day will be as ever courtesy of Gerard Irwin, and on this occasion will feature one of the special Ulster fries. The cost to attend the event is £10, and advance booking is essential, with further details on the club's website and social media. And that completes this week's episode of LIsburn Distillery TV. On behalf of Rosie and myself, thanks so much for watching today's show and for your support for LIsburn Distillery. Until the next time,
come on you Whites!